Good afternoon, guys. My name is Ishaaq. I'm a data consultant here at Rockborne, and today I'm honored to present to you some work I'll be doing in my spare time regarding how AI can be used to empower candidates in the recruitment process. Now, let's jump into the presentation slide so we can get started. So, just to give you an introduction of Rockborne, so who Rockborne are is the firm I'm currently working with, and essentially they work on an attract, train, and deploy model. Now, what this means is they source talents. This can be graduates and essentially from a variety of different backgrounds because the emphasis is on diverse talent, and they upskill them in data analytics, data engineering, and data science. So covering tools such as Python, SQL, Power BI, Tablet, and all these sorts of things. And then after the end of the 12 weeks of training, they then deploy them onto client placements in which they can utilize this knowledge as well as the business acumen and communication skills they are taught to support clients in their value delivery. Now, let me tell you a bit about myself. So in 2021, I graduated with a degree from Sheffield Hallam University. This was with a master's in aerospace engineering. And it was really through this degree in which I grew an admiration for technology. Now, understanding that I wanted to pursue this further, I started to learn about it in my own time. And it wasn't until 2022 in which my 6-month internship started at an engineering consultancy in which I was first exposed to data analytics. And it was through this experience which consolidated my interest in data analytics. And this further made me know that this is what I want a career in. So as the next year came around in 2023, I wanted to learn more about technology. And that's when I joined this bootcamp called La Fosse Academy and specialized in web development technologies. And this was quite interesting because it gave me a different spin on data, more so how data was created on the front end through user interactions and through things like APIs. And now finally, I found myself here at Rockborne, where again, I'm covering all things data from analytics, engineering, and science, but also there's a strong emphasis on commercial acumen and ensuring that you can manage stakeholders effectively. Now that we've got the introduction out of the way, let's actually dig into the agenda. So firstly, I want to discuss what is the current problem in the job market. I then want to go on to provide a solution. I then want to talk about how this solution can be expanded on in the future, and then we'll summarize it and I'll open the floor to any questions. So firstly, what is the problem in the job market? So what I have found is that there's a highly competitive job market. Now, not only have I found this from talking to my peers, talking to my friends, and looking on LinkedIn and from my own experience, so statistics from ONS and also HMRC also validate this finding. Now, the problem with this is that in this competitive job market, candidates are submitting a very large number of applications, and it can be very frustrating, and they may resort to quantity over quality because they treat it like a numbers game. But the issue with this is where they prioritize quantity over quality, it can result in low quality cover letters, and they may lack professionalism, and they may not properly align the skills to the job description. And also it's quite a conflicting topic because what we find is on these applications, we're told that cover letters are optional, but when you read online, we find a conflicting view that basically states that to support your CV, even though a cover letter is optional, just include it anyway because it can add further detail about you. So people are in two minds about whether they submit a cover letter, what is the quality that they should submit their cover letter to. Now, I want to look at this in more detail. Now, what we can see here is a scale and is very heavily favoring one side. Now, what is favoring is the AI tools for recruiters as opposed to AI tools for job seekers. Now, it makes sense why recruiters want to use AI tools, because in these growing job markets, they want to ensure that they're sourcing the best candidates, and they want to make sure that they're taking on candidates at an efficient rate and they're being productive. And so it makes sense for them to use AI. However, job seekers who are also competing in an equally competitive market, they only have access to a small number of AI tools. And I think an important thing to note about this image is the fact that this is only a handful of the AI tools available to recruiters, whereas this is most of the AI tools available to job seekers, which also includes things like ChatGPT and LinkedIn, which I wouldn't say are specifically AI tools specialized for job seeking. And the other thing is, with a lot of the AI tools available to recruiters, these are a lot more bigger companies. So companies such as Workable, HireVue, and Parametrics. So they have a lot of investment behind them, but they also have a much more comprehensive product suite. Now, essentially what my goal is, I want to expand the AI tool offerings for job seekers, and I want to level the playing field. So by providing more AI tools that can support job seekers, I believe this will give them more chances of securing careers and doing work that they're passionate and love. But at the same time, it also helps the recruiters because it allows the recruiters to source out candidates who have high top-notch applications and cover letters and who are very strong candidates. So I feel like it helps both parties here. So to reiterate, what my goal is through this project was I want to support job seekers in a competitive market to consistently produce high quality cover letters that increase their chances of getting a job. So what is my solution? What I want to do is, what the user will be required to do is upload their CV, upload a cover letter, upload a job description, and then using generative AI, their skills from their CV will be extracted along with their personal writing style from the cover letter and the skills required by the job description. And using generative AI along with an enhanced prompt, which contains cover letter best practices, it will output an enhanced cover letter, which isn't compromised regarding professionalism or alignment of skills. Now, I know many people will ask the question of, so why should we choose this application over commercial LLMs like ChatGPT? So the first thing that I would say to them is this application contains an enhanced prompt containing cover letter best practices. And these cover letter best practices have been obtained from talking to recruiters, researching online, and this may be material that most people who don't have access to this will not be able to integrate into their prompt. And it may be very tedious for them to search it. So that is my first benefit I believe that this application has over commercial LLMs. Secondly, I believe that, as you will see actually during the demo, the user interface is very, very simple. So I believe it is within 3 clicks or 4 clicks, to be fair, you'll have everything completed and it's very difficult to go wrong. Thirdly, so time savings. Now, if I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a tired job seeker, they're submitting application after application after application. If they were to do this in ChatGPT, they would be copying and pasting, back and forth, and they'll probably be tailoring the prompt again and again and again. And my main point here is I want to save time for job seekers, and I want them to be able to focus on more value-added tasks. So through this application, it presents them huge time savings. So within a matter of 10 seconds, you can have everything done, and they can have an enhanced cover letter at their fingertips. And finally, which is something we'll definitely dive into later, is through using an LLM along with the RAG, so retrieval augmented generation, there's enhanced contextual understanding of the job description, which means the model can better align the user's skills with the job description. But I'll make sure to go into that in a bit. Now, I want to give you a demo of this product. So as you can see, it's got a very simple user interface. Give me one moment. I'm just loading up the automated cover letter. Sorry, one moment, the application is just sorting out. Sorry guys, just give me one moment. Okay, it should be with you now. Okay, sorry for that delay. Now it's there. So as you can see, it's a very simple interface. So what you've got is an upload CV button, upload cover letter, and then generate cover letter, along with copying and pasting the job description. So very, very simple. Now let's go ahead and test it out. What we're going to do is, so we're going to choose the CV. So these are CVs I made earlier. Now let's do the cover letter. We're going to select the cover letter. We're going to upload it. And then now we need the job description. Now I found a job description earlier that I fancied. So let me just copy and paste that in. I believe this was for an analyst position at Virgin Media. And now I'm going to generate the cover letter. Now, so you got the nice little loading symbol to keep the user occupied while they're waiting a long 10 seconds. And then as you can see, everything loads here. And it's in a nice, it's got a nice flow to it too. And then you can just have to wait a bit longer for everything to be done. And then boom, you've got a nice green tick there. You've got a nice green box to highlight that your cover letter is completed, and you can give it a read. So for example, I'm excited to apply for said role at said organization. It explains to you how your background is relevant. So my background in data analysis and passion for driving change will make me an apt candidate for this position. But it also looks at your experience. So at Rockborne, it talks about how my experience using Azure, Python, SQL may help me to be suitable for this position. And also it looks at how can I align my values with the culture of the company, which is very important for a lot of organizations. They want to make sure that not only are they hiring people who are technically competent, but also that they will seamlessly integrate into the organization too. Now, let me get my presentation slides back up. Okay. Now, so what are future enhancements that I want to integrate into this application? So as I mentioned before, one of the benefits that this application may have over commercial LLMs is when I actually implement the RAG model. Now, for those of you who don't know what retrieval augmented generation is, let me take the time to explain it. So the conventional approach for LLMs is that they use a pre-trained data set. But with RAGs, they supplement this pre-trained data set by including external data sources. So this is known as the knowledge base. So our knowledge base would include the CV, the job description, and the template cover letters. Now, the reason why supplementing the LLM with a external knowledge base is important is because maybe the pre-trained data set doesn't contain much information regarding how to write a cover letter, best practices, CVs. So through actually providing this knowledge base, it will allow the model to, through techniques in RAG, where it breaks down all the information, it will better able to understand the context of the job description, understand the context of your skills, and it will be able to better align the cover letter to include how your skills align with the job description, which is very important. So what you get is enhanced quality and enhanced relevance. Now, it may only marginally improve the quality and the relevance, but in a job market, when more or less everybody has the same credentials, if you have an inch over somebody, then it may go a mile. So that is very important, that essentially there's a strong focus on quality and relevance. So that's the first implementation that I want to work on after this. Now, the second implementation is a CV enhancer. Now, when I spoke to some of the recruiters at Harnham, what they informed me is that for graduate and junior roles, you normally require a cover letter. And I also found this myself. But when you're looking at more senior roles, what you tend to find is they don't really care about a cover letter, and all they want is the CV. So it makes sense, if I want to provide AI tools for job seekers, I should tap into this broader market of CVs. And so this is a wireframe that I made on Figma for a website that I'm thinking of, for a website / application I'm thinking of developing. And how it will work is you upload your CV, and the program will pass all the details of your CV and load it in this section. So it allows you to see which CV you've uploaded and making sure that all the details are correct. And then, similar to the other website I've made, you can copy and paste the job description here. And then when you click Enhance CV, essentially it will act as a CV coach. So it may say to you, for this project, please quantify the achievement. So also when I speak to the recruiters, what they inform me is that a lot of people, they forget to quantify their achievements. So for example, this might tell you to quantify your achievement by stating that customer retention was increased by 30%, and that would look very impressive. Or it might tell you to expand on a particular skill. It may be that in the job description, it says you need to use SQL and you haven't mentioned SQL more. So maybe the program will say, can you dive deeper into how you've used SQL in your experience? And also, one of the things that I haven't included in this wireframe, but I would love to do, is oftentimes you'll find that a lot of people's CVs are not formatted correctly. So when we're referring to the actual visual state of the CV. So one of the things that I would want to do is to optimize the CV. So when somebody passes in a CV, maybe it will have a template that it wants to adhere to, and it would reformat the person's CV into this template. So maybe it's ATS compliant, and it not only contains good quality, but it looks high quality too. Now let's summarize what I've discussed in this presentation. So essentially what I would like to achieve is I want to use AI to empower candidates in a competitive job market. So similar to how recruiters use AI to boost efficiency and productivity, I also want the same for job seekers. So one of my first proposals was to leverage AI to optimize candidates' cover letters. So this was the initial iteration. However, in the future optimizations, I also want to implement RAG models to enhance the contextual understanding of the job description. But what I would also like to do is focus on CV coaching. So how can we ingest a CV? How can we enhance its quality, make it adhere to the job description, but also reformat it so it's visually appealing? Now, that's the end of my presentation. I really enjoyed presenting this, and please feel free to ask any questions. So I've got one question, which is regarding, are you planning to expand this to write answers for common questions on job applications? So for example, why are you the best candidate? So I definitely think this would be a good application, especially because it will be nice to use generative AI to spark an idea in people. So I think with a lot of people, what we find ourselves happening is they might not know, oh, where should I start off writing my answer? So it would be nice in these applications too. So for example, why you want the job, the generative AI can tell you, when it's been trained on a bunch of, let's say, previous answers to these questions, it can say, based on these answers, which are good quality answers, we can do this, this, and that. And also we can use things like similarity models in which we can do something such as, let's say the model has access to some very high quality answers. Maybe recruiters can determine this. And what can happen is you can provide your answer to the model, and it can compare and tell you how similar your answer is to this answer that is rated high quality from recruiters. So thank you very much for that question. I've also got a question from David, and what he's asking is, how do you see the hiring or job searching landscape as AI continues to develop and mature? So I definitely think, because AI is advancing exponentially, AI is being integrated into organizations at a very fast rate. What I think we'll see is more AI tools for recruiters, especially since they're already there, maybe more chatbots for recruiters and things like that. But also there might be, because a lot of people might be using things like ChatGPT for cover letters and things such as that, there'll probably be more GPT checkers as well, which will be an interesting thing, because now these applications will be checking, has this person used AI to write their cover letter? And I think this is where my application has an interesting selling point. And it's because, yes, we will use generative AI to develop the cover letter, but the candidate is always responsible to review the product, to review the final product, look over it and make any further enhancements. And they always need to go over it and actually research the company and actually assess whether or not they are a good fit. So thank you very much for that question, David. I've also got a question from Abby, who says, do you have any advice for people looking to build their first AI tool? What I would say is, I think tools such as LangChain, working with OpenAI API, would definitely be very beneficial, especially because LangChain, which is available through Python, makes it very easy to build AI applications, and it allows you to be very, very innovative and test your creativity, which is very important. So I would definitely say LangChain, practice with OpenAI. What else can I think of? And I mean, also understand, if you're going to build a tool, an AI tool, understand what market you're trying to apply to, because there's several markets where AI can apply to. So for example, in my use case, I knew that I've related to have struggling to get a job in the past. And so being passionate about a specific problem can act as sufficient motivation for you to develop an AI tool that solves a problem. And especially when the development of the AI tool gets tricky, being able to resonate with the problem will be that motivation for you. So that's also a very important thing, I would say. There's also a question from Rama, I believe is pronounced, who's stating the challenges which led you to creating this tool. Do you see them getting better or worse? I would definitely say, so based on the statistics that I've found from ONS and HMRC, although the unemployment rates are high, I do believe they're cooling off from before. So obviously we still have the issues from COVID, whether that's inflation, interest rates and things like that, but they are cooling off, and we can see that in the statistics. So I definitely would say we can see the job market improving. At what rate, we don't know yet, but I think it definitely will improve. But I still think there will be that competitive nature, because this day and age, speaking to people have more or less the same credentials when they are applying for jobs. And so I think it's important that, so if everyone has the same credentials, people need to really be able to recognize how they can set themselves from other candidates. And I think what helps here is tools such as AI, which can very vigorously obtain these insights from your details. And I think I've got a final question I will answer from Beth. So Beth said, creating your own tool is really cool. What's your favorite AI tool out there right now? And has it had any impact on inspiration on yours? So what I would say to that is, my favorite AI tool, I think it's the same as everyone else's. I think it's tools such as ChatGPT, and the fact that they are literally trained on whether it's text, images, videos, all these things. I find that very fascinating. I would say if I was to narrow it down to a tool, I think LangChain especially, and how LangChain makes it easy to develop RAG models, which is what I want to do. It makes it very easy. And so it allows you to actually enjoy the coding side of it, but actually understand the process, what's going on in the back end. So I think that's really fascinating. Now, that's the last question. I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. For those who joined halfway through, the full video of this stream will be available to watch on our LinkedIn page. So please feel free to go there if you missed the start. Make sure you follow Harnum and Rockborne for more great content. And for further information on our data AI courses, please visit rockborne.com. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening, afternoon, and Friday and the weekend. And yeah, thank you. And drop me any messages if you're interested to talk.